All right, y'all good?
All right. What's in this podcast? Another special episode. I got two special guests today. Introduce yourself for the people.
My name is Gio. I'm the CEO of Bizzare Industries.
And I'm Fetty. I'm basically like the editor for like the video parts.
Gotcha. Dope. So, how did Bizzare Industries come about, and like, what is it basically all about?
Yeah, so it goes way back to when I was in high school. To be honest with you, I was a sophomore. I want to say. Before it was called Bizzare, it was called Junk.
Okay.
But it didn't really stick around the way I wanted it to. But it was just a whole idea of like me and my friends just messing around and stuff like that. And the idea kind of faded away, and then it came back my senior year. And it still didn't stick around with the name Junk. People weren't really messing with it.
Right.
And then after I graduated, my friend hit me up from when I was like originally a sophomore, and he was like, "Bro, whatever happened to your brand?" And I was like, "I don't know, I just lost, my efforts to keep it going."
Right.
And he was like, "Bro, why don't we start it up again?" So I was like, "Oh, I'm down. I'm so down for that." And he was just like, "Let's just change up the name so that way it's something that people, actually mess with." And he was like, "We're messing," and he was like, "Let's just name it Bizzare." I was like, "Oh, I mess with that." And he was like, "But let's just not spell it the way it's meant to be spelled."
Right.
So when you look at Bizzare, it's not spelled correctly.
Right. It's almost bizarre.
Yeah.
You know
So we kind of mess with like the two Z's because it kind of like
Okay.
flows. Yeah.
So what is it basically about? So is it like a clothing company, or is it more than a clothing company?
So originally it was just gonna be a clothing company, but I kind of wanted it to be kind of like I don't know, like an industries in a sense where it can be anything you really want it to be. Where originally it was clothing, we took the idea and we're like, let's start a YouTube. So that's where we started YouTube up. And it just kind of grew into like this bigger family thing where it's like we just have a bunch of friends that we record stuff with, and then we have like a huge plan going forward where we just don't want to do YouTube and clothing. We want to do podcasts like you guys do, and more stuff interpreting like just making a corporation in a sense, like building all of that.
Dope. So what I'm interested in, because I got in touch with you guys. My mom had met you guys. I think you work at Boost Mobile.
Yeah, I was working there.
So the one thing that she told me that, and I guess your boss at Boost Mobile, Chris. One thing they told me about you guys is you guys figure out the system as a team, and you have like a helping hand. Your boy here helps you out. How did you get to a point where you found a friend or a group of friends around you that are all with one set goal?
Yeah. So to be honest with you, it's funny because when we started the YouTube up, it was kind of like a thing. It was like we just every day we always hang out. Like there's not a day we don't hang out. And we were just sitting in the room one time. We were like, dude, I don't want to keep on working a 9 to 5.
Yeah, that's where it starts. That's why I tell you, that's where it starts.
We're like, I don't want to keep on working a 9 to 5. And I've always been passionate about like recording and making funny stuff, and so was he. Like it's just something that we've like built on, and like all our other homies were just like, yo, we can take what we do in our normal life and express it to everybody else.
That's exactly what the vision I have.
With everybody cooperating with each other, it kind of just makes the best team because there's no one like that wants to do something else in a sense. We all work together.
Right. Now, how old are you guys? What are y'all's average age?
We're in the 20s. Yeah, the youngest dude we have is 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you find like I'm a little bit in my later 20s, but I always thought if I started in high school, like trying to do all this shit now, it'll be a lot easier because people wouldn't have so much responsibilities as kids and jobs and things. Like it's hard to get a group of people on the same page. That's why I'm like real interested because it's hard to even find people that are going to have the grind with you. Like most of the time you're doing this shit by yourself. Like you know what I'm saying. So what is pretty much like your ultimate goal for everything with Bizzare Industries at the end of it?
Just that main thing. Stop working 9 to 5.
Stop working 9 to 5. That's the goal.
Waking up every morning, just saying that I'm doing what I love to do.
To be a content creator, pretty much. Yeah.
Exactly. Not have to focus on, oh man, I'm late to work.
Right.
Yeah.
So you working now, right? So what's the reason for you to work now? Is it for you to get the money to be able to provide for what you're doing, or?
Yeah, it's basically we're all working just to kind of like to build towards the same goal. Whenever we talk about where we want to move on with Bizzare, it's just always something like, we're all going to incorporate each other. It's not just one guy has to buy everything,
right?
Another guy has to buy everything there. It's just like let's focus how much we have to
that's
pitch in.
big, man. That's
Like,
big. That's definitely like I like what you guys have. I admire that because like it's difficult sometimes when you have a goal and like you want to incorporate other people in it, but necessarily not everyone has the same drive as you or has the same the idea. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we've been texting back and forth, so I kind of already know, you know, the different hours that you be up. So I know that you on the same type of time I'm on, like, you know, 2 a.m, 3, you know, most of the time I'm up. But a lot of times it's hard to find those people that are, you know, going to be on that same grind, but they want the satisfaction of what you built. You know what I'm saying? Have you run into any friends that are like halfway there? They're only there sometimes? Or?
The guy that had originally given me the idea to come back to Bizzare, or to come back to do this clothing business, it was when we first started, it was like questionable of like if we're actually going to commit to it.
Yeah.
I was 100% down.
Yeah.
But I could tell he wasn't.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at now. Is like he's unfortunately not with us.
Right.
I still like admire him to this day because he came back and gave me the idea to do so. But
so do you still have people like? Would you still have that person around you, you know, around your team, if they wasn't 100% on? You know what I'm saying? Like, would you still allow it, or?
I would let him hang out with us, but it wouldn't be something to incorporate with like what we're trying to build toward. You know what I mean?
It's just get no money. In other words.
yeah. And aside from that, it's just like, you know, you don't want to hang around with someone that doesn't have the full idea that you have, and they're somewhere else at space wise.
It gets tough because people don't understand. Like, I see you got your boy here. He's probably your closest person to you, right? Yeah. So like 9 times out of 10, the closest person to you should probably be just almost just like you. You know what I'm saying? That should be the person that's almost grinding just as much as you're grinding. How, you know, with you, how do you figure your placement in the whole thing and him being the CEO? Like, how do you deal with, because a lot of times we run into like being owners of a business or being in charge of a business, you run into ego. You run into people who necessarily, they want to be the spotlight, but they don't necessarily know what comes to, you know what I'm saying, to be the spotlight. Like, how do you, and they don't know their roles a lot of times. So like, how did you figure out your role in Bizzare?
Well, thankfully, like, there's no one in our like little circle that like thinks he's better than the other, and even if like the person does, like the rest of us just like shut him down.
Right. That's the best way to do it. Yeah.
But as an editor, I think one day I just like got Adobe Premiere, just to play with it before, and then that's when they came up with the idea, like we all did, and we're like, I think we should just film what we do, and put it out. So we started like a little trial run. Like we took one video that's unreleased. Like we haven't released it, and we cut it up, and you know, edited it throughout. And I showed it to them, and they thought it was nice. You know, it was cool. And then like from the first video till now, it's like a bunch of progression through everybody. So with camera work and like editing and stuff like that.
So it's more than one person shooting. You're just the editor, pretty much.
Yeah. I'm just
That's good. That's dope. So do you ever done music videos and things like that?
Music videos, I'm not there yet with the editing. It's more just like cut it up, sound effects. Okay. It's like really basic, but like But like music videos, we've talked about it.
I have a feeling you're gonna be good at that shit. And then something's telling me, you probably didn't talk to him after this interview. Like, something's telling me.
I mean, I'm always open to anything, music videos, movies. Like,
see, that's what I'm working on now. I'm trying to work on a short film, so I'm trying to find. Once again, it's so tough. Like, I'm one of the people, bro. Like, if I can't find a person to do it, I'm just do it on my own. So like, I'll pick up the camera and it may not look the best, but like at least I fucking did that shit. Because most people are gonna sit there and twiddle their thumbs. Like, I wish I can't do that shit. Like, so I've been looking for like a video person, someone that's like gonna be able to put the vision of my music into real life, but be dedicated. Because like a lot of times I feel like these video dudes are like taking people's money and they just take weeks to record, do the drawing, and they're like, yo, where's my video at? He's like, yo, I'm backed up. I'm like, but bro, like I just gave you, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, I think for me personally, I'm looking for someone who's gonna be on the same page as me as far as like, this is my blocked out time, we're gonna shoot this video, and this is the time where you should only be focusing on these videos. I'll pay you for this block of time. And that's more what I'm looking for right now. But so with Bizzare Industries, like, you guys have a website or things that people can go to?
Yeah. We have both a website and an Instagram
Okay.
that we use kind of like our main source of social media.
Okay.
The Instagram is Bizzare Industries, and then the website is also bizarreindustries.com.
Okay.
So it's real easy to access and stuff like that.
Dope.
Yeah.
So you got some new drops, some new clothes?
Well, that's the goal. I was actually talking with him the other day. We have this new drop coming. We've been working on it for like weeks and pretty much months now. I'm just finding the right time to drop it.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so much going on in the back end that's just kind of put on pause.
Yeah. Sometimes it's about timing with things. Like, you know, it's all about timing. So like, here's a question for you. Like, have you ever thought about like artists almost, or using artists, or I know you play soccer, so are you using a soccer player or using somebody who has some type of influences around people to wear your clothes, like promote it?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. We are in the car right here. Yeah, in the car right here, I was talking about how I'm looking to sponsor anything as far as like right now I'm looking like at skaters because
that was on the top of my brain.
A lot of our like people that buy our clothes are like skaters and people like that.
That was on the top of my
So
brain.
I wouldn't mind sponsoring a skater. A soccer player, I'd love, or like people like that, I'd love to sponsor, but it'd be more like once I have like an athletic wear type of thing going on. So it demonstrates that. But yeah, sponsorships I was definitely looking for.
Yeah, because I'm gonna talk to you after this because I think I want to get to, as an artist, I want to get to partnering with different clothing brands just to be able to wear their new drops and things like that. Like I have a show tonight, I'll be able to wear that to, you know what I'm saying, and it'll be able to cross brand. And really collab because you know I have my own line too with the Gmon stuff, but like we were talking, once again I always be dealing with people who ain't serious, man. Like you know what I'm saying, like you know what I'm saying. If you're gonna make the shirts and you want, if we're all getting a sale from the shirts, it will behoove you to continue to make the shirts so we can all get paid. But you know some people don't look at it that way. But so what makes you what gives you that drive to keep going?
Right now, it's been friends, honestly. Since day one, it's kind of really only been friends that keeps the drive going. At first, my mom wasn't the most fond of it. Like, you're starting up your own business. I don't think it would work. My dad, same thing. But after like my first successful job, they since then it's just they've always been on my side. They're like, when's the next one? When's the next one? Do you need the garage for anything? Because I use my garage as a photo shoot area. So they've been a lot helpful throughout the whole thing as well. And then my friends for sure has been the ultimate drive.
Yeah, man. I mean, and I like you have a good both you guys have a professional aura about you guys. You know what I'm saying? Where automatically I'm like, man, these are some people how I love to work with. You know what I'm saying? So I think you take your job serious. You know, both of you guys you take your job serious. That's the main thing. You know, because it's very easy for people to think of this as a joke because there may not be what they deem as success. You know what I'm saying? But it's up to us to treat the shit serious as a job. You know what I'm saying? I went through I'll be as 100% real as possible. So I've been making a decision in my head if I had a job right now and that job was to call me while I was interviewing y'all and they're like, yo, I need you to come in at 3 o'clock, but I interview y'all at 3 o'clock. I think I'm not going to my job. You know what I'm saying? That's just my mentality. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think other people have that mentality, and I think to have that mentality is how you keep your business going. Because other than that, if you're not going to take it serious, no one else is. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to be some days where he feels better to be, he feels more positive. You know what I'm saying? Because we go through different, days. Same thing with my crew. You know what I'm saying? Some days Teo is more energized. So some days Talib is more energized. You know what I mean? So it's having a team around you is important. You know what I'm saying? And it gets real discouraging. So, how do you get paid with Bizzare Industries? What are the ways you get income?
Right now it's just been off of the clothes. Being able to promote the clothes and stuff like that, and it's making sales that way. Future growth would be across YouTube and even anything as far as social media goes. That type of income as well.
So how do you get to the point where you get income? I'm intrigued now with this part of it because I have my own clothing line as well, and I haven't been not as successful as I want to be selling the merchandise. So how do you get to that point where you're able to sell the merchandise? Is it friends or is it like a good clientele base to start with?
So starting off, it was friends. So friends is always the number one source, especially if you have good people around you. So whenever my first drop, I posted it on Instagram, and it didn't even take me to start texting people, yo, can you promote this? Can you promote this? They did it all in themselves. So it came to a point where like I look at the insights of that post, and it was like 50 people shared this across in the last hour.
Yo, for real, that's what I told him getting out of this interview. Like, I need some friends.
Yo, but it was even before like I don't know. It was just like I love meeting new friends, and I'm always as real as I can be to people. So I guess it was just off of that they were able to help me out, and then from there it grew into TikTok. I didn't realize how much of a source TikTok can be until I started posting on there.
People keep saying that.
Oh my gosh, it is so beneficial, really, as far as growing your business and selling. And so that's been.
Never know who to follow you on. You know, Fabo follow me on TikTok. Fabo from D4L.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, a lot of people will follow you, and it's awesome. I didn't realize how good it was until I started using it.
I need to start getting more into TikTok. Yo, it's been one of them. I feel like I'm too old. Like I can't like get into it for some reason.
As soon as you start following the trends on there, it's just like you start getting so many views.
So you don't have to be making no silly video. You just
I kind of what I do.
I trick them with the hashtags.
As soon as you put FYP like For You page,
it goes right there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all getting me hip. Okay, I didn't even know that. So let's see. What else we want to know?
Algorithms. We were talking
The
about
algorithms. Yeah. I get what you're saying. It all goes down to algorithms. Yeah.
Oh, I have a question.
Go ahead.
About balance, because you guys work, y'all full-time, right? Well, y'all full-time,
For-
y'all work full-time?
for work?
Full-time, just in general, your general work, not your business, but your work.
Full time.
Okay, full-time. So how do y'all balance full-time and this business together?
It's been on and off. So on weekends is when he has off, when he's completely off. So that's where we find the time to make videos. And then as far as I go, it would just be right after work. I'd come home and expect the shipment to come in, and I would spend like an hour or two prepping the clothes, stitching, doing all that stuff. And then it would always be like a Tuesday release. So Tuesdays I would have off, and that's when I make the release. So that way I have the whole day to do any orders I get that day and be able to ship them out.
So you got a whole system.
Yeah, that's good. So, and I like how you all switch up. So when he has the time off and you have the time off, and y'all do that little switch on. I think that's great. There was another question around that too. So with that balance, so what would be your advice to somebody who is trying to start a business, even if it's similar to yours or different, that also needs to work at the same time? What would be your advice at that balance between them?
I'm gonna use my boss Chris as an example because he's the only reason he's been a big inspiration as far as starting my business. It's just first is a roadblock. The way he explained it to me is like getting past that first roadblock is starting it. So as soon as you start it, it's so much easier to find a balance of how you want to work things. So for someone that, let's say, works a 9 to 5, it's like, oh man, I'm so tired when I come home, I just want to sleep, I want to do this. But if you're not motivated, like we were talking about earlier, is being motivated, you want to go home and be successful. So you go home, it doesn't matter what the business is, you go home and work on that business at least for an hour and a half, which is what I started to do, is an hour and a half of my time goes to that business. And then it's just like, okay, now I can cool off. But to be honest with you, when I'm spending like, that was just my starting time, an hour and a half. But when I started getting into it, it was just like, forget that. I'm just gonna keep on working because it's what I love to do. Yeah. So as long as you're motivated to what you want to do, it's like a whole lot easier. And I don't feel like there's like, you'll figure out like a schedule as far as how you want to work things and stuff like that.
I love it. I'm loving it, and y'all young, and that's what I like about it. I like that drive at a young age because I really believe that if you can start early, then by the time you are like in your middle age, you all are going to be like amazing with this. I think that's good. I commend y'all. I definitely do. But I do also I'm curious to know having that drive and all that kind of stuff. I know you said that Chris kind of helped to kind of spearhead it to show you how to do that, which is always good to have a good mentor or somebody who knows how to run business to be that guide. So as young people, because you're all pretty young, was this something that you kind of knew that you wanted to be an entrepreneur way before you decided I want to do a 9 to 5?
Yeah, it was actually in 8th grade. There was a class called something to do with like financing, and it was like, what do you want to go and be like down your path? So you had a plan A, plan B, or plan C. Plan A was being my plan A was being a professional soccer player. All right, so because I always loved playing soccer, so I was like, I'm gonna be a professional soccer player. And they were like, what's your plan B? I was like, I don't have one. I don't really want to know what I want to do. And that's when at that point is when I started getting into clothing, and I started seeing businesses like Supreme popping up, Babe, so like all these like big brands that like were super limited, which I caught attention to, and I was like, why don't I start something like this, right? So that's when leading into freshman year, kind of lost thought of it. Sophomore year, it came back, and I was like, maybe I should start something like this, make it something limited where like people drive and wait in a 30-minute line to try to get my clothing, and that's where it kind of just built up to where I'm at now.
I love it. Visions. That's what I'm saying. You had a vision.
Yeah.
It's all that.
Yeah.
Were you similar? Was yours similar?
I just kind of feed off with.
Okay. That's good too.
So like his energy is just like, oh man, if he's really passionate about this, then I'm going all in, you know. So it's just like,
That's good.
yeah, he's kind of just driving, and we're just all in.
Y'all like the young Bill Gates and
I know,
Bill
right?
Gates. Yeah, like you know, I forgot what the guy was with him, but yeah, that's y'all, yo. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. Y'all like starting on, and you say you start off in your parents' garage. I'm trying to tell you, man. We're gonna be sitting on the beach somewhere. I'm trying to tell you, man. I'm trying to tell you. But yeah, so what are some of I know everything. Sometimes it looks on. It's a lot of bad things that happen sometimes on the come up. So like, how do you deal with like the downfalls of things like that? And what are some things that have happened along the way?
It's been mostly just like trying to figure out balancing my time. Sometimes was difficult in the beginning, or money too. Like I was mentioning before, like there were some money problems in the beginning, and it just didn't come out to be. But I didn't let it. Any problem that has come up, I didn't really let me affect me because it was just a short-term problem.
Right.
And like I was mentioning before with Chris, that's how he always explains it. Is that any problem that does come up is just a roadblock, and there's always a detour around the roadblock.
Yep.
So I just always figured out, if there's a problem going on right now, it's temporary. You'll get around it.
Right.
So I never really stressed the small stuff that happens in business life because it's bound to happen. Yeah, it's bound to happen.
So but with dealing with like money and things like that, like to create shirts, like it takes upfront money and things. So how did you decide, and take that risk into being like, I'm gonna spend this amount of money and may not be able to get this back? Like, what is that like? How do you deal with that?
That was the biggest thing. Starting, it was like, I'm putting this much money in, and I better sell this much or I won't get my money back. That was the biggest risk I've ever taken, and I'm thankful that it paid off.
Right.
Because if not, then I don't know, maybe a little different.
Right.
But yeah, there's been some situations where I have put money and didn't get what I wanted back, but I didn't let it bother me again. Right. Because it's still there, it's still available for people to shop around with. So that's why I'm always going to events. Like last year we went to like 3 or 4 events alone, just selling clothes. So that's that. If it doesn't sell online, we go to events consistently to try and sell and just spread our word as well. Make sure that people know who we are.
That's good. We got an event tonight if you guys have time at 7. We're gonna be at Couture Coffee. We got a performance, so you guys can come through, spread the word of Bizzare Industries. You know what I mean? So, and any other event that we have, you guys are welcome to come and set up a little store. You know what I'm saying? So, Mom, you got any other questions?
That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. To live, you got some questions?
Nah, I'm liking what I'm hearing.
Y'all
are some real homies.
Like, we definitely gonna do some. I think we're gonna do some great things in the future. We've already talked already. I think collabing. I think is so huge, especially we're from like Culpeper, such a small area. I've had to come up to Fredericksburg to kind of really get my feet into the music. I think Culpeper, we don't necessarily have like Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's nothing unison. So you guys, having the Bizzare Industries and having something that's a collective in Culpeper is huge. I think for the area.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Did you guys go to Eastern View or was it Culpeper High School?
Culpeper.
Culpeper.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm from the Eastern View side. So yeah. But shit, Eastern View was alright. I never went to Culpeper, so I don't necessarily know. I went to Eastern for like 2 years, but Culpeper is like one of those places, man, where it's like you either gonna get in trouble or you're gonna just, be just bored.
There's pretty much nothing between there.
Yeah, or you gotta create something,
Yeah.
create something, do something bigger and better than just wanting to sit down in the town. Like I feel like a lot of times we just get so complacent. You know what I'm saying? I love this because you guys aren't complacent. That's really the main idea of this show. Is really just to show people that there's other things you can do. And the smallest niches can turn into big money niches.
Yeah.
There's people who are literally just, there's probably a job literally just to change people's backgrounds on their phone and probably get paid for it. It's a niche for everything,
Right.
if you really put your mind to it.
Yeah, that's very true. I have a friend actually that he does magazines, which I thought was the most interesting thing ever. Because it's like you've seen clothing, you've seen people go into the music industry, you've seen all this other stuff.
Yep.
But to have like something creative as that and be successful with it with magazines, I thought it was the craziest thing ever.
Yep.
And he's become one of my personal best friends for business and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That I appreciate that he's there as well.
Yeah, because there's always a lot of people are doing the same things. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people. That's why even creating a clothing company, you guys do YouTube, different things, because you add on to it. Be more than just one thing that other people are doing. You gotta differentiate yourself.
Yeah, it's like a tree with a bunch of branches, just trying to figure out.
Exactly. So I know you guys are still young, but I always ask you this question all the time before we get out of here. What are if you were to go back to your 16-year-old self, what would you tell your 16-year-old self for advice?
I don't know. What would I tell my 16-year-old self? If I were to go back, I would just say, wow, that's a hard that's actually a hard question.
Yep. It's like, what have you learned over these past 4, 5, 6 years? You know what I'm saying? That you could utilize to go back to. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, maybe I should have learned this. You know what I'm saying? It could have made things better.
Right. I guess I would tell myself that I'm happy that you stuck around with the same idea. Even if it wasn't in the front of your head, it was in the back of your head the whole time.
Yeah.
That's one thing I would say. And then just like some small stuff like just thankful for who you hang around with since that time. You built up a great amount of friends.
Yep.
And people that support you. So that's what I would tell myself there.
Dope.
For me, I don't know. I don't think I'd tell him anything because I wouldn't learn the same thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't learn them in the same way because if I told
That's a
myself
good
that,
answer.
I
like that answer.
And stuff, so.
Yeah, because everything happens for a reason.
Yeah,
at the end of the
that's
day.
true.
So yeah, that's definitely good stuff, man. I'm glad I had you guys come on. I know people on our channel are gonna see you guys again. Hopefully, I'll be on y'all's channel again at some point. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully the people get to see us in the collab. I hope they'll be able to wear y'all clothing